Okay, hi everyone. I'm really excited to be here in Dundee. So I'm here to introduce Modus Games. We are a publisher, and our tagline is that we bring AAA publishing to independent developers. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about our group first. So a lot has changed recently, and it can be a little bit confusing about who we are. So at the group level, we're Maximum Entertainment. We're publicly traded on the Swedish Stock Exchange, and we have two different sides of the business. So we have the development side, which is known as Modus Studios, and then we have our publishing labels, of which one is Modus Games. So I'll tell you a little bit about those first. So Modus Studios is based all around the world. We have studios in US, Brazil, Sweden, Hungary, and Romania. And we have about 8 games in development at the moment and 120 game developers. So it's grown quite large quite quickly. And they're working on some really exciting projects at the moment, like an American football simulation title. We actually have a game coming out this week called Bramble, the Mountain King. So please support if you can. It's coming out on Steam and all the platforms. And then we have our publishing labels. So Just for Games is based in France. That's kind of the top distributor of physical games in France, and they work with a lot of AAA companies. Then we have Merge, which is based in the UK. They're an indie publisher, and they are actually publishing Bramble later this week. And they also did a game recently called Small Land, which was doing really well on Steam, like an open world survival craft game. And then we have Maximum Games, which is also the company that I represent. We are a top 20 physical publisher in the world, so we do physical copies and lots of cool editions with games like Among Us and Sifu and Kenna Bridge of Spirits, and we do merchandise and collector's editions and stuff like that as well. So what is Modus Games? That's what I'm here to talk about today, and hopefully I can talk to you personally later as well if you're working on any titles. So we're about 50 people in the publishing unit. We've done over 20 games at this point, and we're really flexible as a publisher, so we like to work with lots of different developers around the world on lots of different games. And to tell you a little bit about us, I thought I'd do just a couple of small case studies of games that we've worked on before and how we've worked with them on both the marketing side and the production side. So the first is Super Animal Royale. I wonder if anyone has played this game here. Oh, there we go. One person. So yeah, incredibly popular, as you can see. So with Super Animal Royale, the game had actually already released when we came to help them. But they had this weird system where it was like they had a free demo, but then you could upgrade it to a paid game. And the game is so special and so fun that we thought that this could go to a way bigger audience. So we ended up signing a deal with them, and we kind of had 3 pillars for how we wanted to market the game and revamp the whole thing. So we created a bespoke plan and campaign for the developers. We really made it community and influencer driven. And then we put a big emphasis on basically getting the game in as many places as possible and just marketing it everywhere. So the bespoke plan was basically to make the game totally free to play because, you know, we're an evil publisher and we just love microtransactions, of course. But no, the developers are very, this is their precious baby, and we really were sensitive to their needs and what they wanted to do. But this game just like has the potential to go to such to be so accessible and to go to such a wide audience that we basically revamped the whole thing, and we built out a whole system to make it a live service game. And then we could market all of these cool like seasonal updates and battle passes, and we've expanded it to like over 400 playable animals, which is really awesome at this stage, and still doing more and more. And the way that we did that is really by having a community and influencer base of the marketing campaign. So we contacted a bunch of influencers that seemed like they might be interested in playing the game, and we did loads of cool stuff with them. Like we made them animals in the game that they could play as, and they just went absolutely crazy for that. So I think like doing those really bespoke things for individual influencers really pay off. And then we did a lot of community events and incentivized the community to do a lot of fan art and to get involved with the game, and we grew the Discord to over 100,000 members. And then we went truly multi-platform. We went crazy with the porting and just ported it to as many different places as possible, including Google Stadia, RIP, Facebook. We even brought it to Mac, which we don't use very often. But we really wanted that, like, whenever we were doing this like global marketing, that people could literally play the game wherever they wanted. That was like a huge part of the campaign for us, and so it worked out really well. We have got to almost 40,000 40,000 reviews on Steam now. We've almost reached 10 million unique players as well. And I can go on all day about how amazingly great we are, but if you really want to make money making games, then just make animals that look like humans in your game. It works every time. Okay, so the production case study I wanted to talk about is In Sound Mind. So this is an amazing game made with a development studio in Israel. And the cool thing about working with them was that they were not super experienced game developers. They were actually recent students, and they used to make games together as kids, and then they just decided to make a game studio together. And that brought up a lot of kind of challenges during the process, but the game was special enough that we really wanted to just go through with it. So we brought in this man here, who is part of our team. He's our VP of production. And his philosophy behind production, and I guess if you're in game development, you will understand this, is that anything that could not possibly go wrong will definitely go wrong. And we have found that time and time again with our games. And so what we're really trying to do is just basically be there for you when stuff does inevitably go wrong. So with In Sound Mind, the way we did that was by focusing on 4 main things. So the first is testing. That's basically a huge part of game development for us now. So we've grown a group to almost 3,000 playtesters on our Discord. And with In Sound Mind, every time they made a new chapter of the game, we were doing a playtest, and we were scoring maybe, we do like predicted Metacritic, and we were scoring maybe like 50 to 60% each chapter, and then through just testing, asking really specific questions about specific parts of the game, we were bringing that score up about 20 points by the end of each playtest. And then it came to porting, so we always like to do multi-platform and global, and the developers were like, it's impossible to port to Nintendo Switch, it's impossible to port to current generation, previous generation like PS4 and Xbox One. We were like, don't worry bros, like we got you, like we're so experienced with this, like yeah, we were totally wrong. So we actually never managed to bring the game to PS4 and Xbox One because it was impossible. We should have listened to them. But after 8 grueling months, we did manage to bring the game to Nintendo Switch. But that was a really interesting learning experience for us. Because the game was actually developed originally on such an old version of Unity that it actually could not pass submission checks. So we had to change the whole game to a newer version of Unity quite close to the end. Similarly with localization, it all went wrong. Usually it's all done in a spreadsheet, but this time it was just done on Microsoft Notepad. So we had to go through and change that whole thing just to localize to different languages, which was a really interesting experience again. But we love the games, and we love each game that we publish, and we want to give it the right amount of time and effort that's necessary to make something truly special and to allow it to reach its potential. And so we really just wanted to give the developers enough time to do it, and we delayed the game a couple times. And that's very common in the games industry and with us also. So here are the results. We managed to get to overwhelmingly positive on Steam, which we were so proud of, and we were so happy for the developers as well. So yeah, we're really happy with that result. Oh. Okay, so just a couple other cool things, I guess, working with us. One is that we do physical releases for most of our titles, so that's really awesome. You actually get to hold a copy of your game once it comes out, which I think is a really special experience. And we can also do merchandise and things like that. And also, you get to see data. This is a slide that maybe would be the least exciting thing ever for some people, but for some people it's also really exciting. So we basically show you all of the data that we have. So like sales, unit numbers, pretty much everything you can see at exactly the same time as us. So it allows you to really run your business in a transparent way where you can see everything going on. So yeah, that's us, AAA publishing for independent developers. Thank you for sitting through this with me, and yeah, I hope to chat to you about this afterwards.